All right, welcome to our assignment on value. So this is about adding another element to our drawings to make them look more three-dimensional, more effective, more interesting. So here I have a line drawing of our apple, and our apple's off to the side here. Here's our apple. Oops, here's my apple. So you can see what I'm doing. And what I'm going to do is add value to this. Right now we have a nice drawing of our apple. It's rather two-dimensional. It's flat. We get what it is, but we're going to make it a little more interesting, create that illusion. So what I'm going to do is add value to it. So I have light coming in from this side. So I have light on the left, shadow on the right. So I'm going to take my vine. I'm working with my charcoals today. I'm going to work with my vine charcoal, which is a thin, lightweight charcoal, and my compressed charcoal, which is a dark, heavier charcoal. The difference is your vine charcoal is a lightweight, more of a darker gray, the lighter gray. Your compressed charcoal is darker, denser, and more permanent. But I'm going to start with the vine charcoal, begin to describe the shadow, and you can begin to see already, as I do that, my apple's looking more three-dimensional. The basic idea here is that light comes forward and dark recedes. Now these lines that I drew around to describe the apple have to disappear. Those lines actually help to flatten out the outer. So if I take my vine charcoal and smear them into the paper like this, you see what happens? It goes from being a line to being the edge of the object, and the edge of that object begins to curve away from your eye. All right, like so. And what's nice about vine charcoal, it's very easy to edit and to play with and add and subtract. Now, if I want to add some really darker, more permanent values, then I can use my compressed charcoal. But for now, I'm going to satisfy using my vine charcoal. Now, my lightest value here is going to be the highlight on the apple. I have a highlight here. That'll be the value of the paper. Everything else will be slightly darker, as I'm doing now. Right? There we go. And then, of course, I talked about the importance of shadows. The shadow tells us about the shape of the object, the type of the light, and also connects the object to the paper it's sitting on. As your shadow goes under the object, it gets darker. But notice as I make it darker, it makes the apple look lighter there. So I may need to add, once I put my shadow in there, I may need to then add a little more value to the apple, because I want the apple to feel like it's curving under itself. The surface of the apple's curving underneath, like so. There we go. And so I'm going to make that shadow darker. If I make the shadow back here darker, remember, dark recedes. It gets the back edge of that shadow to feel further back. And if I make it lighter here, it makes that apple feel lighter, or the shadow, feel lighter and come forward. Remember, light comes forward and dark recedes. I can even come with my compressed charcoal if I want to make it darker still. But your compressed charcoal is more permanent. It's not so easy to erase, but it gives you a darker value and a wider range of value, which you may want in some of your drawings, okay? So there you go. Now another approach we're going to do real quickly is, what I can also do is take my vine charcoal and I can add value to my paper to start out like this, okay? So this is a nice approach, adding some value to your paper, which I want you to do too. Smear it in there with your hand, or if you had a dirty chamois, you could use a dirty chamois. We don't. Or you don't. I do. But I'm not going to use it. And then I'm going to take my vine charcoal, draw my apple. Again, I'm working rather quickly because I got to keep these YouTube videos under 10 minutes. Otherwise, it's hard to unload them or download them. Nice shadow here. Normally I would measure all this and be a little slower. And then I can use my charcoal again to add darker values, just like I did on that first drawing of the apple, that first iteration. And then I can use my eraser to create lighter values, like so. So I can work back and forth. I can put down the middle value and then use my eraser for lighter values and my charcoal for darker values. So I want you to try this also. But see, these lines still have to disappear here. I could even add a little bit of a background here. I could put the back edge of the table in here and throw some value in there. So I can start to enlarge upon my drawing and start creating other elements. I can create a a foreground and a background too. So I want you to try all these things. Look at the assignment page on Canvas and do your assignments based on what I'm showing you. And you can also look at other videos. There's lots of videos on similar subjects that you can utilize, that you can, benefit from. All right, there we go. I can make my table lighter. Let's see how we're doing with time. Got a few more minutes. So then I'll make my table lighter as well by working with my eraser. So I can do an adductive subtractive method of drawing, which actually I like doing it just because it also creates a sense of atmosphere, because you're not just adding value, but you have a value there, so you're not always having to deal with the white of the paper. All right. Now this is a down and dirty version of this. Normally, if I were doing this for real, or it was an important drawing, I'd be taking a lot more time on it. But I want to show you the basics. There we go. And I'll stand back and look at it. Always stand back for your drawings and look at them and see how they look. Don't just assume it looks great or it looks terrible even. Sometimes, you'd be surprised, sometimes your drawings can look great and you don't realize until you either step back, take a break, walk away from it, and come back in the room. And a lot of times I'll see 5 things I thought, gee, I could have done that better, and then I'll do it better, Or just stepping back from your drawing a few feet and looking at it. Always very helpful. There we go. Make my shadow darker underneath here. So again, it recedes. Dark recedes and light comes forward. All right, this is going to be your next assignment using value, okay? All right, not a great drawing, but adequate. All right, thank you, everyone. And enjoy your drawings. Do the assignments. Find things you want to draw. That'll help, Okay, it always helps to draw things that are interesting you, okay? All right, thanks.